Good Friday afternoon, and thank you for joining us here on THV 11. I'm Mackailyn Johnson. Now at noon, just days after one of the deadliest mass shootings in Texas history, the National Rifle Association is hosting its annual conference in the Lone Star State, prompting anger and protests. Plus, as we head into a holiday weekend, make sure your skin is properly protected. We've got advice about how to avoid skin cancer. And the Arkansas Razorbacks softball team is on a roll. We've got a live report from Fayetteville as the Hogs try to clinch their spot in the College World Series. But first, we're here with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz. Corrales, this is a Friday that I think we've all been waiting for. It is nice out there.
It's like the weather also wanted to go on vacation and be like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm tired of throwing all this active weather your direction. Let me go on a break and give you guys a nice needed break weather-wise, because that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. So we're ending off the weekend, or I should say the work week, and starting the weekend on a good note. Besides just a few clouds to our east and northeast, we're seeing mostly clear skies out here. Lots of sunshine to work with already. Warmed up to around 73 this afternoon. A few pockets still stuck in the 60s, but they're eventually warm up into the mid 70s later this afternoon. And for us, we'll be seeing highs around 80 later on. Even as warm as the mid 80s to the south. Otherwise, most of us are just going to be dealing with a nice warm day filled with plenty of sunshine, light winds out of the north and west. So if you're wondering how's the holiday weekend looking like, well, I'll have the details coming up just ahead.
Thanks, Corrales. And today should have been the first day of summer break for the 19 children and 2 teachers of Robb Elementary who were killed by a gunman Tuesday. Investigators are still searching for a motive, and there are other questions being raised about why it took law enforcement so long to stop the shooter. Officials have struggled to lay out the shooter's movements and what actions were taken by law enforcement in the 90 minutes he was at the school.
The initial officers, they receive gunfire. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. But we have officers calling for additional resources.
Law enforcement officials also say the gunman walked into the building through an unlocked door without being confronted by anyone. President Biden and the First Lady will visit Uvalde on Sunday.
This most recent horrific shooting is prompting a lot of anger, and many online are calling on Congress to do more. Some claiming that in the near decade since Sandy Hook, Congress has not passed a single piece of gun control legislation. So is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are Todd Belt, the director of the Political Management Program at the George Washington University, various reports from the Congressional Research Service, and Congress.gov, which tracks past legislation. Let's start with our political expert.
That's absolutely true if we look at congressional legislation. There has been some new laws and regulations that have been sent through executive orders. But when it comes to congressional legislation, nothing has happened since Sandy Hook.
To confirm, we searched through Congress.gov for all bills signed into law over the last decade and found just 30 which had the words gun or firearm included. But most were just budget bills, and Belt says that none of these bills made significant changes to gun control laws. But that's not to say there haven't been attempts to pass laws. For example, in 2013, shortly after Sandy Hook, the Manchin-Toomey Amendment would have bolstered background checks, but it failed to get the 60 votes needed. These failed attempts are why presidents have used executive actions instead. For example, according to CRS, in April 2021, President Biden announced 6 executive actions relating to gun control, including one to try and crack down on ghost guns.
In the absence of congressional leadership on this issue, presidents have been taking the ball themselves and running with it.
So we could verify that this claim is true. In the near decade since Sandy Hook, Congress has not passed any significant gun control legislation. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
The annual NRA convention gets underway in Houston today, less than 300 miles from Uvalde. More than 50,000 NRA members are expected to attend, and thousands of people are expected to protest the event. Robert Costa reports from outside the convention.
The city of Houston is on edge ahead of the NRA convention. Democratic Mayor Sylvester Turner said the city has to honor its contract with the NRA, no matter how he feels.
There comes a point in time when people have to recognize that it's disrespectful to be talking about guns when 19 kids have been killed.
For the Republican Party, the moment is a reckoning with its long-held alliance with the NRA on gun rights. Several leading Republicans promised to attend, including former President Donald Trump and Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Both plan to speak today. Governor Greg Abbott is no longer attending in person, pre-recording a video message instead.
Guns are never a responsibility. A gun is a tool.
Despite the mass shooting in Uvalde, attendees are doubling down on their stance on gun rights.
It wasn't guns that did it. It was a person.
We have a problem where people who are getting mentally ill are they're falling through the cracks.
A recent CBS News poll found that among Republicans, the majority, nearly 75%, want laws covering the sales of guns to remain the same or be made less strict. And when it comes to political influence, gun right groups spent $15.8 million on lobbying last year, 5 times more than what gun control groups spent. But the NRA has faced challenges in recent years, following scandals at its highest ranks, and it's now spending less on political campaigns.
While guns will be allowed into this event, they won't be for Trump's speech due to Secret Service regulations. Robert Costa, CBS News, Houston.
In one of the most viewed stories this morning on THV11.com, authorities say a series of 4 murders in Stone County are the work of one man. On Thursday, deputies named 54-year-old Donnie Lee Trammell of Mountain View as the suspected killer. On April 21st, multiple agencies started investigating 2 double homicides at houses just a quarter mile from each other. Trammell is the son of 2 of the victims and is being charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, held on $4 million bond. Family, friends, and fans of Bob Robbins are gathering today to honor and remember the legendary Arkansas radio icon. Bob died Saturday at the age of 78 after a recent health battle. He was the driving force behind the Toys for Tots Toy Hill event every Christmas. This morning, a group of motorcyclists led a caravan to Bob's funeral in Sheridan. Thousands of musicians are gearing up to play in one of the largest musical performances of all time, Taps Across America. On Monday at 3 o'clock sharp, they'll play Taps to remember America's fallen. Any musician can participate, and everyone is encouraged to step outside to listen and reflect. And here at home, you and your family are invited to help honor our state's fallen heroes. Volunteers are welcome tomorrow morning at the Little Rock National Cemetery to place flags at each military headstone. No need to sign up, just show up and pitch in. AAA expects more than 39 million Americans to travel at least 50 miles from home during the Memorial Day holiday weekend. AAA anticipates 4.1 million people to travel through May 30th, with 3.7 million of those taking road trips. That includes Arkansas and our neighboring states as well. This is an almost 10% increase compared to last year, and with gas prices still skyrocketing, there are ways to help your car make the trip.
Number one, making sure your tires are properly inflated. Underinflated tires make the engine work harder. In fact, 30% of an engine's energy is used to overcome the rolling resistance of the tires.
With poor weather expected through much of the country, drivers and flyers should leave early if possible. In fact, some airlines are offering travel waivers for passengers in the path of thunderstorms if they need to change their flight arrangements. Well, if you listen closely, you might be able to hear the hog calls from all the way from Fayetteville this morning. The Razorbacks softball team is on a roll, just 1 win away from their first ever trip to the College World Series. Our Sierra Clark joins us live. Sierra, how's it going out there?
Well, right now at Bogle Park, it's a little quiet. Fans are still getting their rest for the big game tonight. It'll be game 2 against the Texas Longhorns, as the Razorbacks just need to win 1 more game and they're off to the Women's College World Series. Arkansas defeated Texas last night 7-1 in game 1. It's a best-of-3 series, so they just need to win that 1 more. And the Hogs gave their first super regional win ever. Previously, they've only gone 2-out in the best-of-3 series, in Arkansas combined for 12 hits. That's the most in super regional history. So The Razorbacks, like you said, Mackailyn, are just on an absolute roll, and they will hope to continue to make history again in Game 2. If they win, they'll go off to Oklahoma City, and fans are so excited about this matchup. It was packed yesterday. You could hear the hog calls. It was a white out last night, and it's going to be a red out tonight, so it's going to be a lot of fun. This game starts at 5:30 p.m. right here at Bogle Park. You can watch the game on ESPN2. We'll also give you tons of updates as well. Reporting at Bogle Park, Sierra Clark, THV 11 Sports.